Hello players, welcome back. Pants off. We've got Lewis Rossman, we've got Bambu Labs, Lipa, GameStop updates. This is tech news and nonsense, so switch your brain off. The vibes are locked. I am your tech jester, Bloodstringer, still here, still unbanned, still surprised, but I'm glad you're here too. Okay, story one, Bambu Labs, the 3D printer company everyone bought because they print fast, look nice, and arrive needing the assembly skills of a hungover toddler. Beloved by the community, right up until they looked at the community and went, hey, you know what? Fuck these guys specifically. Quick context in case your closest experience with 3D printing is a TikTok of a man printing a Dwayne Johnson toothpaste tube topper. Bambu Labs makes some of the most popular 3D printers on the planet. They got there by riding bareback on 1,000 open source projects, and every single one of them free, and then turned around and went, actually, the back of this thing is now ours, so please get off. Also, pay us a subscription to keep sitting at where you're already sat at. Last year, Bambu quietly disabled a bunch of features on their own printers, features that already worked on machines that you'd already paid for. They just reached through your Wi-Fi like a creep through a window and turned shit off. A wild corporate greed has appeared. One developer, a guy called Powell Jarczak, apologies to Powell for whatever I just did to your name. Powell made a fork of Orca Slicer that just turned those features back on, restored the function to the machine that you bought with your money in real life. Bambu's response was the corporate equivalent of, say that again, I dare you, motherfucker. And then they hit him with a cease and desist letter, which is what companies do when they can't win an argument, but they can afford lawyers. Powell shut down the project because, of course he did. He's just one guy, and they're a multinational business with a legal team that bills by the millisecond. Bambu's official excuse for this gatekeeping is that they said their cloud servers are getting hammered with 30 million unauthorized requests a day. Now, 30 million sounds like a horrifying number. And so you remember that each single one of those requests is coming from a machine that they freaking sold. Yeah, that's customers using the thing they bought. So that's like Tesla recalling a car because the owners kept driving it. So this is the third time you've used the brakes this week. We're going to have to deactivate your steering wheel. More on Tesla later. But enter Lewis Rossman. If you don't know Lewis, picture a man from the Bronx who personally has pried open every single glued shut piece of consumer electronics you can think of. And every single time, it looks like it's ruined his day. He runs a repair shop, he runs the FUTO Foundation, and he runs a YouTube channel, which is basically 11 years of one continuous, beautifully sustained, profanity-laden rant against companies that solder the battery in. Can you tell I like him? Lewis saw what happened to Powell and posted a video. And by posted the video, I mean just flipped off the camera repeatedly. Well, a few times. He basically told Bambu Labs to go fuck themselves and pick on somebody your own size. But then Lewis did the actual serious bit. He pledged $10,000 of his own money, 10 grand cash today, to cover the first chunk of Powell's legal fees, on the condition that Powell puts the fork back up on GitHub and tells Bambu Labs to bring it. You know, Lewis is basically standing on the playground going, fight him, no, I'll hold your jacket, I'll pay your hospital fees, just go, beat him up. And the comments on his video, they were gorgeous. One guy was like, I don't even own a 3D printer, I just hate bullies, here's $20. And another guy was like, I have an X1 and I'll throw in 100. The internet, you know, it's the most wholesome the internet has been in a while. It's money actually going towards something useful, not something like a private jet. I look forward to your comments. Right to repair is simple. If you bought it, you own it. If you own it, you should be allowed to fix it, mod it, take it apart, paint it pink, take its pants off, dim the lights, well, you get the idea, and then sell it on Marketplace after you clean it. Whatever you want. You shouldn't need legal permission from the company that already cashed your check. Imagine buying a couch and IKEA sending a guy around to make sure you're sitting on it correctly. So we noticed you assumed a spread eagle position on an open board. Your warranty has been void and we have alerted the authorities. Just to be clear, that's not what I think Swedish people sound like. I don't know where that voice came from, but I like it, and it might come back again in the future. Who knows? Look forward to that. But here's what really cooks my balls about this whole thing, is that Bambu Labs didn't build their empire from scratch. They sucked the open source teat for years. Orca Slicer itself is a fork of a community project, and the whole 3D printing community is built on the principle of, I figured out how to do this. Here's the file, go nuts. A 3D printer should be the ultimate nerd freedom device. It should be the one thing in your house that says, make whatever weird plastic nonsense you want. A phone stand, replacement knob, something penis-shaped. Obviously, yes to all of those things. That's half the market. And I think we know what the other half is. I look forward to your comments. So Louis Rossman is once again standing in front of the corporate tank with a 10 grand flower. So yeah, maybe Bambu Labs don't pick a fight with the right to repair crowd. They're not normal consumers. You don't want a war with people whose idea of relaxation is reverse engineering your firmware. So maybe think about that. Next story is coming up. If you're having fun, hit the like button or any of the other buttons. They make me tingle. Okay, quick recap for anyone who skipped class last week. Ryan Cohen, the GameStop CEO who turned a dying mall company into a meme stock cult and then back into a dying mall company, decided what GameStop really needs is to buy eBay. Yes, eBay for $56 billion. We covered the whole pitch last week. The 1,600 stores becoming drop-off points and live sale broadcasts from inside GameStops like a sweaty discount QVC, the whole vibe. If you missed it, the video's somewhere on this channel. Poke around and see what you find, and then watch the video. Well, eBay's board has now responded. They composed a rejection letter with the same energy as a 3 a.m. text that says, "You up?" The chairman, a man named Paul Pressler, and yes, that really is his name, Paul Pressler. It sounds like a character from a 1950s film noir. See, Paul Pressler here, Evening Standard. You want the scoop? The scoop is that I don't give a shit about GameStop. That's the scoop. Paul sent Cohen a letter that opens with the words, "We have concluded that your proposal is neither credible nor attractive." Savage! Hey, if they're going to take the savage reply out of Rocket League, then I'm going to use it here. Where was I? Oh yeah, I had a real joke to do. We have concluded that your proposal is neither credible nor attractive. I mean, ouch. Just say that you already have a boyfriend or that you're really working on yourself right now. Yeah, so after that verbal slap in the balls, the board did give their reasons, which are pretty solid. If you take the meme glasses off for a second, GameStop has about $9 billion in cash, and Cohen told eBay that he'd line up another $20 billion in debt from TD Securities. But that TD Securities financing letter is non-binding and is contingent on the combined company maintaining investment-grade credit rating. So eBay does the math and GameStop has $9 billion, needs to borrow another 20 more, and the lender has so many escape hatches written in the contract that the whole financing might evaporate before the ink even dries. Cohen's response to the rejection, well, he fired back in writing to the same chairman and said, "I cannot stress that this is a direct quote, I am not going away, I'm a pain in the ass." I'm like, please, we know. Look, Wall Street took one look at this thing and called it for what it is. There's basically zero synergies between GameStop and eBay. They are both very different. One's a relic of the past where people have moved on to better, shinier things, and the other one's GameStop. It's true, eBay is over 30 years old, and there's things like Marketplace, TikTok, whatnot, Vinted. If eBay's not careful, they'll be left behind like a slightly used, washed up YouTuber. No returns, please. I look forward to your comments. So the eBay and GameStop deal might not happen, but from one legal headache to another, Lipa. Lipa is suing Samsung for at least $15 million for allegedly using her image to sell TVs without her permission. Which is wild. I don't mind looking at Lipa, but Samsung would normally put images on TVs that you don't want to look at. Ads. Sort it out, Samsung. At some point last year, Samsung started shipping TVs in boxes with her face on them. Big, prominent, the protein of the packaging, her face. It was the main course. She did not approve of this. She did not get paid for this, and Samsung didn't even call. They just slapped her on the side of the box like she was a discount pizza. The image was apparently titled "Dear Lipa, backstage at Austin City Limits 2024. And she says she owns the rights to that image. Samsung says that the image came from a third-party partner and they had assurances and permissions that were secured for the use of the image, including retail boxes. And yes, it's the classic corporate defense. It wasn't us, it was the third party. Ah, yes, the third party. Every company has one. But whenever something goes wrong, they just point to a shadowy third-party vendor hiding in the cupboard. Is there a pop star on our TV box? Yeah, that's the third party. Why is customer data being sold to the FBI? Third party. Well, why am I not wearing pants? Third party. Or just a good party. Don't need a third party for that. At some point, these third parties are going to unionize. Now there's enough third parties to make a whole party. That was a maths joke. Pretty bad maths joke, but it was just for Matt Parker. I hope he laughed. The lawsuit says Dua Lipa became aware of the alleged infringement in June 2025 and demanded Samsung stop using her image, and claims that Samsung repeatedly refused. Yeah, she was so angry she was levitating. No. Don't start now. It also says that fans on social media were saying stuff like they bought a TV because Dua was on it, which is absolutely ridiculous, but also exactly how marketing works. People online acting like, who would buy a TV just because a singer was on the box? People buy water just because a celebrity held it once looking hydrated. People buy knockoff Lunchables with moldy cheese and lead because a guy found a body in the woods. That's the short version of that chain of events. Of course a famous person's face can sell a TV. That's the whole point of advertising. If a celebrity face didn't work, brands wouldn't spend the GDP of a small island getting actors to pretend they care about yogurt. Coincidentally, yogurt on the face is my stage name. You walk into a store and there's 200 televisions all showing the same high saturated beach scene, and Dua Lipa is somehow on every box and then one salesman with dead eyes whispers, "This one has quantum dots." Quantum dots sounds like something you catch at a festival. Doctor, it burns when I stream. I'm afraid you have the quantum dots. Have you been near a Samsung? Also, Samsung and Dua Lipa is a strange pairing. Dua's brand is glitter, pop, style, cool London, energy, expensive outfits, beautiful lighting, dancing like she's immune to council tax, and Samsung's brand is please agree to our 900 terms before turning on your washing machine. Soon your washing machine will have ads and you won't be able to do anything about it. Anyway, Samsung maintains that it denies intentional misuse and is open to resolving the matter constructively, which means lawyers are now somewhere in a windowless room saying how much money before we have to pay before this all goes away, before the next album cycle. And Dua Lipa's team is now saying more than whatever you're thinking. But that's show business, baby. One day you're topping the charts and the next day you're explaining to a federal judge while your cheekbones are not royalty free. Okay, let's get in the fast lane because we're going to talk about the Cybertruck. Of course we are. Tesla is recalling the cheaper rear-wheel drive Cybertruck long range because there's a problem with the brake rotors that could potentially cause the wheel hardware to separate. In simple terms, that means the wheels might decide to fuck off and start its own company, which to be fair is pretty on brand. Even the wheels are trying to leave Tesla. The recall affects all 173,000 of the RWD Cybertrucks Tesla. No, wait. 173 full stop. Period. That's all they've sold. 173 of those Cybertrucks. I've seen more people in the group chat. They could notify every owner individually using a moderately loud town crier. Hear ye, hear ye. If thou purchase the budget stainless fridge on wheels, please report to the dealership before your front left wheel achieves independence. Hear ye, hear ye. 173 is the entire customer base of that specific model. That's all of them, every single owner. Tesla launched a budget Cybertruck and sold fewer of them than a moderately successful Etsy candle shop. And still screwed it up so badly that they had to recall every single one. The entire owner base could probably share one large Domino's pizza and still have leftovers. The issue with the $70,000 rear-wheel drive Cybertrucks is that they come with 18-inch steel wheels, and Tesla says that the brake rotor stud holes may crack and eventually allow the stud to separate from the wheel hub. The company says it knows of 3 warranty claims that potentially relate to the same issue, and no known collisions or injuries or fatalities have been linked to it. So good news, apparently no one has been hurt. And bad news, the truck is still doing early access patch notes like a broken Steam game. This This is reportedly the 11th Cybertruck recall so far, and the cheaper RWD version was already discontinued just months after launch, which tells you everything. Tesla brought out the budget Cybertruck and the market went, no thanks, we already have anxiety. A $70,000 cheap Cybertruck is a beautiful example of tech pricing. Only in Silicon Valley is 70,000 grand the affordable option. That's the entry-level model. Entry to what? Bankruptcy? Divorce? A support group for men who use the word alpha unironically? Now all 173 have to go back for repairs. Tesla will replace the front and rear brake rotors, hubs and lug nuts free of charge, which is really the least they can do. When you buy a car, wheels remain detached, should be a standard feature. And finally, let's end with something beautiful. Students booed AI at graduation. At the University of Central Florida, commencement speaker Gloria Clawfield, there we go, was speaking to graduates from the College of Arts and Humanities and the Nicholson School of Communication and Media. So we're talking writers, journalists, artists, performers, communicators, basically the entire roster of people whose career Sam Altman is trying to flatten into a beige paste in a server farm in West Texas. During the speech, she called artificial intelligence the next industrial revolution, and the students booed. And someone even shouted, AI sucks. Let's take a look.
The rise of artificial intelligence is the next industrial revolution. Whoa. What happened? Okay, I struck a chord.
Again.
What happened?
Wonderful. These are humanities students. These are the people who have spent years being told that their degrees are useless by the same LinkedIn psychopaths who now want ChatGPT to generate authentic brand storytelling for a vape company. Graduation speeches are already a weird genre. Some millionaire gets up in a robe and says, "Follow your dreams," to a crowd of people who owe $80,000 and have been awake since 5 a.m. wearing rented fabric that smells like panic. The last thing they need is someone going, "The robot that plagiarizes essays and writes HR emails is your destiny." But the real reason they're sick of AI is not because every single person hates technology, it's because AI has been shoved into everything with the subtlety of a raccoon in a wedding cake. People are tired of being told that every new technology is inevitable, wonderful, and above criticism. Crypto was inevitable, NFTs were inevitable, the metaverse, Google Glass was inevitable, juice cereal was inevitable, right up until people realized that you could just squeeze the bag with your hands like a non-idiot. Every few years, tech culture grabs society by the shoulders and screams, "This is the future!" And then 6 months later, the future is in a clearance bin at Best Buy next to a smart mug that needs firmware updates. So yeah, booing them is the correct response. And ending this show is also the correct response, because I'm running out of steam. If you like this video, many of my other videos are very similar to this one. Hit like if you laughed. That's the substitute for a laugh button. Or if you cried, you can use it for that as well. The subscribe button is also a good one to press. And if you made it this far, comment with the words, "My wheels are out." I read all of the comments and I love every single one. But until then, stay sexy and be excellent to each other. I've got a door made of sponge. You can't knock it. There it is. There it is. It's time for tech news.